I started by cutting a strip of 3/4 inch plywood. My guide will be 60 inches long, which gives me a comfortable overhang to cut pieces that are around 48 inches long. The aluminum channel I used was a bit too tall and would interfere with the depth of cut, so I trimmed it on the table saw. Make sure you're wearing all your safety gear if you attempt this cut. And that's how you make glitter. As you just saw, the cut was pretty rough, so I sanded everything down and rounded the corners with the angle grinder. Then I marked the channel in 3-inch increments, punched, drilled, and countersunk all the holes. I don't have a deburring tool, so I used a file to knock down the sharp edges. At this point, I decided to make the guide 6 inches wide, and I also added a bevel along the back edge to make it more comfortable to use. I'm creating T-slots under the guide, so I'll start by routing a channel with a 1/4 inch upcut bit. Then I'll use a small T-slot router bit to finalize the cut. The clamps are actually thicker than a T-slot bit, so I adjusted the height to make another pass. I included links to some of the tools I'm using in the video description. After the slot was sanded, I added a small roundover on 3 sides of the guide. I attached the channel to the base. I noticed there was a lot of flex there, so I clamped it to a straight piece of hardwood to make sure it stayed straight. Now I can make the first cut to establish a straight edge on the guide. I used a small metal guide that came with my saw to create a small skate that would ride down the channel. I don't think it's completely necessary, but it was fun trying to figure out a way to include it without modifying my saw or permanently attaching something to it. I covered everything with paste wax to improve the wood's sliding properties. Don't skip this step, it made a very noticeable difference. Now for the demonstration. I started by planing down one piece of oak. I shimmed it up so I could flatten one side. This is a good method if you don't have a jointer. I have access to rough sawn boards, so this will be the main use for my guide. The bottom clamps will keep everything in place, and I can establish a straight edge on a board that's pretty narrow. Now the clamps can get in the way, but using the guide on the corner of your workbench solves that issue. I made my first cut, but I should have set the blade a bit deeper. Hey, if you've watched this far, I would appreciate if you took a second to like the video. Have a nice day, and thanks for watching.